Hello, my friends. Happy to be back at YourVision.blog. And today I have a fantastic guest. It's Clemens. He's the co-founder at Finslice. And Finslice allows users to invest in fractional shares of real-world assets like watches, rare whiskeys, art, and classic cars, starting from as little as €10. They bundle assets with a category like Rolex watches in the Crown bundle to provide diversification, and they also offer an IAO. Maybe we will come later to it. Clemens is also an account manager at an advertising company, a really very interesting person. And our topic today is the future of finance, a vision that could change everything or nothing. Please, Clemens, the stage is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, first of all. My name is Clemens, and as you said, I'm one of the guys of Finslice. What we're building is a platform that makes it possible to invest in fractional shares of luxury collectibles. So, as you mentioned, things like watches, art, or rare spirits. These kinds of tangible assets have outperformed the stock market for years, but most people are locked out of these markets, not because they're not interested, but because getting in usually takes a lot of money, the right connections, and expert knowledge. At Finslice, we want to change that a little bit, and we create so-called bundles, which group together high-value assets from a single category, like ETFs on the capital markets. And this way, instead of buying a watch or a single painting, users can invest and get exposure to entire markets starting from just €10. And our goal, of course, is to make these alternative assets accessible to everyone and help people diversify their portfolio, and most importantly...
Oh, wow, that's really interesting, Clemens. So you will shake up the investing industry. That's really great. Your company is based in Europe, and here you have also a lot of possibilities. And here at YourVision.blog, I will show very interesting people what is their vision. And Clemens, show us your vision. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, so unfortunately, financial markets are just not fair. So the happier you are, the more possibilities you have. And we think it's incredibly important to democratize these financial markets, to make all asset classes available to everyone, independently of their wealth, their background. And we think luxury collectibles play a crucial role in this transformation. But of course, also other asset classes like venture capital, private equity will be very important in the future. So our vision is a market.
An open financial market sounds very interesting. To make it really open, what is the why? Why did you choose working in a fintech company or founding a fintech company?
Yeah, so for us, we came across these alternative assets and began quite slowly. And we thought, okay, why can't I invest in those assets? And then we really got into it and looked at the charts, and the more we got into the niche of luxury collectibles, the more important the problem got to us. Because if you look at, for example, art that has performed with 14% per year for the last 30 years, you think that is an asset class that everybody should have at least the opportunity to invest in. And we thought it was unfair. We still think it is unfair. And so we decided if nobody changes it in a convenient way, we probably have to do it.
So you're changing the way how the people can invest. Do you have a specific target group whom you like to be on your platform? Is it open to everybody? Is there a geographic fans, or how do you handle it?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we are in Europe, and there's, from legally perspective, any advantages here. So we structure our investment platform by fractional ownership, and basically everybody can use it and invest and become a fractional owner of our bundles. But of course, we have a specific target group, which are people that already have some experience in financial markets and want to further diversify their portfolio. These asset classes have very low correlation to traditional markets, to stocks and bonds. And so they're the ideal instrument if you want exposure to a new asset class that has data which has proved that, and if you want to further diversify your portfolio.
Wow, that's really great. Also, if you want to get more information here at YourVision.blog, please don't forget to subscribe and also click the bell that you get informed when there is a new video available, like here with Clemens today. And if somebody wants to invest, is it very complicated or is it easy? Can you tell us a little bit how it works?
Of course. So that's a big question when starting developing our platform. How will that design be, and how target group do we focus on? So we decided for a two-way approach. There is a desktop version, which is basically designed like a usual exchange. So you can place market limit orders, you have all the data, and you have a centralized order book. And there's also a mobile version, which is much more simpler and can be used without any prior knowledge. And of course, the registration process is you only have to register on our platform. You have to do KYC. That's necessary from a legal perspective. And of course, it makes sense. And then you're ready to go. You can deposit money easily via your bank transfer.
The link to your fantastic platform is Finslice.eu. The link you will also find down at the description. And you offer a trading challenge which starts the next days. The people, they already can register here. Can you tell us a little bit about the trading challenge and how it works?
Yeah, of course. So basically what we will do is have a trading challenge where everybody can invest with fictional money, trade fictional bundles, and the best users in real prices. So you can get the first feeling of the Finslice platform and test the trading environment, give us some feedback. And then one trader, which has the best yield over the time period, gets 500 euros. The second place gets 300 euros. And the third place gets 200 euros in cash or however they want it. And so that's the way we test our platform and we try to get some feedback.
Wow, that's really great. And so this is also that the people can test your platform, that they see, hey, how can I trade at Finslice? That's really fantastic. Which languages are you starting with the platform now?
So starting in English, and we'll also offer a German version since we're based in Austria. But first we will start with versions to make it possible for everyone.
That's really fantastic. Thanks a lot for the introduction. For the trading challenge, that's really great. Clemens, I want to come a little bit back to investment. You do not offer a traditional investment like the boring banks offer. You offer here something very interesting. I love it. What you're doing. You told me already a lot the last weeks. How did it come that you started this interesting possibility and to offer it to other people?
Yeah, so that was back about 2023. Me and my co-founder, Philip, met each other. And then we talked about investments as usual when we meet. And we came across alternative investments and talked about the topic and became very interested in it. And then just looked at the charts and looked at the data. So is there any proof that and alternative assets perform well? And when you look at studies, when you look at the data, you see it performs incredibly well. And then for us, it was just purely logical to dive deeper in. And then we found out that there's low correlation to the stock market, that ultra-high net worth individuals, so people that have a net worth of more than 30 million, they allocate around 20% of their portfolio to luxury collectibles. And that was when we thought, okay, this is an asset class that must be accessible to everyone. And, I think since COVID, people started investing generally more, and they started to use neo-brokers and investment apps. And so we thought it was purely logical that this will be the next wave of democratizing. And
the people, they invest their money. How secure is it that, for example, if somebody invests in a whiskey, that the money is safe?
Yeah, so We have used several mechanisms to provide security. First of all, we use a centralized platform. We use a blockchain, our DEX, for legal reasons and for security reasons to provide more security to our investors. And also, we use a third-party payment provider, which has been established in the financial industry. So we do not have anything to do with the transaction itself. It is all our third-party secure software. In terms of asset storage, which is of course a big thing because people need to trust us to actually store these assets, we have appraisers that basically prove every a few months that we store those assets. And we store them, of course, as securely as possible. We insure them. And so we have several third parties with that basically confirm our...
And very important for the people. What have been up to now your biggest obstacles and also the biggest opportunities when you found Finslice?
Yeah, so we've all started doing this part-time regular jobs. So the big definitely been building the platform itself. Our CTO has a full-time job at the moment, and we try to change that as soon as possible, full-time on Finslice. But of course, it has slowed us down building the platform. But there have been many opportunities. We met each other at a networking event in Vienna, and there are just so many really nice and helpful people in the startup industry. And also we see some business angels that give feedback. And all of that has been very helpful in developing the platform. And so, yeah, we're very grateful for all that have supported us.
As you mentioned, we met in March 2025 in Vienna at a great event from Tokenize.it. This is a possibility that people can participate or invest in a company in a very, very easy way. The event was organized by Tokenize.it, supported by Google Cloud and also from the law and tax company CMS and Austrian startups and also YourVision.blog. People came from all over Austria to see it. Also Lucas from Hamburg was here. That was really fantastic. And you're visiting a lot of events like this and spreads the word that the people get to know your company. That's really great and very important. And with Finslice, the people can invest in different things. Is it also possible to invest direct in your company?
Yeah, so as of now, we're starting to fundraise and it is definitely possible to invest in our company. And we're looking forward to everyone who is interested in working with us or investing in us. Yeah, possible.
So that's really great. Also, the link to the LinkedIn contact of Clemens is here. See it in the comments and contact him to see how you can invest in this fantastic company. And it's really great. What can you recommend to other people who want to found their startup? What can you recommend them? What they should look out at the beginning?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think there's just so many things all at once. I think what's really important is what all successful founders is just to keep going. You're not an expert at the beginning. I'm not an expert in founding startups. And you have to be able to grow as the company grows and as the idea and the vision grows. And so to keep learning, and if there are hard fallbacks, just don't give up, keep on going. And I think what's also really important is to talk with everybody about your idea. So some people think others will steal it if they talk with them about it. But the best opportunities we've had was by talking to just some random people about our ideas. And then a lot of people...
Oh, that's great. Thanks a lot. That's really good. FinTech is really a very, very interesting branch, also investing. What do you think would help the people a lot, except the ultra high net worths, but what would help people like we are to know when they invest?
Yeah, I think it's for most people, I think those passive investment opportunities or investing in index funds, if they're specifically looking for tangible to invest in bundles, it always makes sense to defy risk across single assets. But of course, I'm not an investment advisor, so I think everybody has to inform themselves and find their own strategy. There are active traders who make huge profits, but I think for most people, having a well-diversified portfolio, diversified across asset classes, and in those asset classes, diversified across single assets.
Yes, to have a good investment advisor, that's very important. Clemens, there exist many possibilities to make alternative investments. What differences Finslice to other possibilities?
Yeah, you're right. So there are several platforms that allow you to invest in luxury watches, art, or rare collectibles. But we have chosen to keep a real focus on providing the most convenient way and providing a liquid platforms. So when we developed the concept, we looked at other solutions and we really found two big problems. The first issue is that there are high transaction fees. So you have to pay up to 8% when you invest in those collectibles. And those 8% are 8% you have to gain first. So you're net zero, and then you make a profit. And we try to keep fees quite low, and we will start with about 1.5% and can lower it as trading activity increases and as users grow. So we try to be really comparable to other trading platforms. And as I mentioned, trading, the second issue we found with other platforms. So they mostly fix users to their investment for 2 to 15 years. You can't really trade your share during that time. There are some secondary markets, but the spreads are as high as 50%. So for example, you buy shares for 50 euros and you can only sell them 25 euros in this period, and you really only make a profit when they sell the real asset. We said that's inconvenient. We wouldn't use such a platform ourselves. So we said it must be liquid. And that's also why we choose bundle approach. By having bundles that are continuously being expanded, we have the possibility to really trade 24/7 and trade at a fair market price, a centralized order book. And there our goal is really to make it as liquid and as tradable as, for example, tech stocks. And that's a benefit we try to provide. And we think that's also necessary to make this a mainstream asset class.
Don't tell us the secrets which you keep for yourself, but can you give us a little bit an intro how you do it that you keep the fees so low?
Yeah, so it's basically quite simple by using market mechanisms. We do not list hundreds of bundles on our platform. There are a select few bundles you can invest in. And if people want to invest in and there are no new assets added, they have to buy shares on the secondary market. And so that's the way we keep the secondary market liquid. And by using this trading activity, we can lower the fees. So it's basically just networking effects. The more people trade, the more trading activity is increased, the lower we can keep the fees. And other platforms, of course, they only list individual assets. They have to list new assets all the time to make a profit. And we say no to that. We focus on a few bundles. Those are tradable and we earn dollar fee.
Okay. And you're not depending on any blockchain. Why did you make the decision against blockchain?
Yeah, so when it first started, this was quite a hard decision. Do we use a don't we use a blockchain? We decided against it for obvious reason. If you want to use blockchain, you have the big problem. So users have to trust us that we store those assets. And even if everything is decentralized, have to rely on us as an organization. So decentralizing this market does not make sense at the moment because there is no solution to this so-called Oracle problem. And we think it makes much more sense to keep it a centralized platform, a centralized key that you can, but we actually do use some blockchain mechanisms. So we cryptographically link the transactions so they cannot be edited and are publicly insidable. So everybody can see which transactions happen on the platform. They are linked together and not edit anything. But yeah, it's a centralized entity just make.
You offer alternative assets especially in these times of inflation, why do you concentrate on alternative assets and not on the typical assets which banks do offer?
So assimilation is quite an important word here, because tangible assets are of course limited and they tend to act as an inflation hedge. Whenever inflation of those assets tend to increase in value, and then of course you have the bigger picture, you have an increasing money supply, you have a limited number of goods with a good track record. It's purely logical that you can beat inflation by investing in those assets. And so we think that's also a quite important thing, because compared to companies which have a lot of trouble in times of inflation, as the whole capital structure can be destroyed, we say, okay, it's just a limited number of goods and increased money supply. They will probably go up in value. Of course, we cannot guarantee, but that's what.
So this is investment and you can trust what the past has shown us. And how do you think that liquidity can be created for these markets?
Yeah, so the many theories, nobody really knows. There hasn't been any liquidity, but we think that by creating those bundles and by extending the market cap as user activity grows, that's how liquidity can be established. So for example, we have an art bundle, and as users grow, we add new artworks. And to keep the balance between trading activity, users, and the market cap of the bundle, that's how liquidity can be established. And of course, you have some incentive models like polymarket users to benefit users that place limit orders in an order book, which gets quite technical. But there are some incentive models that can also increase liquidity. But of course, the future will show us if it works. But we haven't seen any other approach in history.
Clemens, I also have some rapid fire questions for you. What do you think is the biggest financial myth?
Yeah, so of course in my space, it's that if assets are not investable. That's many people think, but history has proven otherwise.
One book everybody in finance should read.
So what has really helped me was actually a treasury handbook, which I have here. If you want to learn the basics of treasury and financial markets, that's definitely
You have it always with you. That's great. What is the most overrated trend in fintech?
Course. So I think it's credit cards and payment gateways. They're just I think the market is completely flooded with possibilities, and I think many companies in this segment will fail over the next years.
And one thing you would change about the industry overnight?
That people always have blockchain in mind when they have tokenization. But as we proved, tokenization is also possible in a centralized way. But of course, both solutions can make sense.
That's really great. Thanks a lot, Clemens. This was really fantastic today. Big intro into investment and fintech. Please subscribe and also click the bell. Thanks a lot. And Clemens, it was really a pleasure to have you here. Thanks a lot. And I wish you all the best with Finslice. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.